I'm thinking this is probably the best time to upgrade my car. The thought of having a monthly car payment again is revolting to me. It is absolutely revolting. Also, I don't know if y'all know this, but when you get a luxury car, everything goes up. Your insurance, your oil change, your car parts, your windshield wipers, everything goes up significantly to maintain a luxury car.
Get a Benz, get a Benz, don't get a Benz. Because what is this? What is this? Why? Why? Somebody tell me, where do I go to fix this? Where do I go to fix this? I looked into it. I want to say I looked into it a couple months ago because it was not like this. Like, this was not, it was not like this. Like, you can't even pull it back. Like, I don't understand. And then you got to keep on doing this just to get it back. Like, no. How do I fix this? When I looked into it, it was like $7,000. Who having a Benz is just so much maintenance. Like, it's just a car. Like, it's a car like any other car. The maintenance is the problem. That's the problem, the maintenance. The A and B, they have an A and a B maintenance. Like, you go for your A service, you go for your B service. And if you don't have a package plan with Mercedes, like, I be paying $1,200. That's ridiculous for oil changes and whatever else they think I need. And now I'm to the point, like, I don't need nothing but an oil change. So that better come up to $300, $400. And even that's a lot. But how do I fix this? How do somebody come in the comments and tell me, like, where do I go to fix this? This is a Mercedes. Where do I go to fix this? And I don't want to pay $7,000.
People often go out and buy a luxury car. It gives them the feeling, the car saying that I've made it. And it's just the ultimate rolling flex. It's a sign that says you're on top of your game or just plain look at me now. As in the case of a Mercedes-Benz, yes, in some markets, some countries, it is considered a luxury brand. But what if the person driving it is secretly one repair bill away from a full-on financial meltdown, as what you're seeing right here with this young lady? Yeah, she looks good. I like the natural hair, but the real story isn't the price right now she actually saw for the Benz, is to take into consideration the maintenance cost that is going to hit her down the line, and she is having that epiphany right now. The hidden costs that she's praying she will never find out, which she did. For example, a simple brake job on a Porsche Cayenne or any other luxury vehicle, it's actually going to set you back over $1,000 easily. The thing is, everyone knows that luxury cars are expensive to buy, but the biggest hit is the one that really stings you. It happens the second you drive off the lots, and it's actually called depreciation, and it's a silent killer of your money. Let's take a look at another one.
Do not buy a Range Rover. The worst car to buy in 2025 is a Range Rover. Number one, repairs cost the price of a used Honda. A replacement for an air suspension can cost you anywhere from $2,000 to $7,000. Number two, depreciation hits like a car crash. Range Rovers depreciate 40 to 50% in their value within the first year. Lastly, unreliable is an understatement. You're basically buying a car that's going to spend more time in the mechanic shop than in your actual garage. The best thing when it comes to a Range Rover is lease it. This way, if you have any issues, you could always bring it back to the dealership. After 2 years, you can switch it or get something else.
A normal car might lose about 30 to 35% of its value in about 3 years. And that's really a bad deal. But a lot of these high-end luxury vehicles, they lose more than a staggering 50% in that same time. And he's here talking about a Range Rover, but I'm going to give you a brand new BMW X5, for example. In just about 5 years, it can shed over 40% of its original value. Let's put that in perspective. That is more than the entire cost of a brand new decked out car. So your car's value is just evaporating, but it's even more than that. The expensive headache of maintaining some of these cars if you're outside of a particular income bracket, as they say, outside of someone's tax bracket, it is going to be much more of a headache than you can imagine.
Customers are always asking me, Ryan, why do you not like BMWs? What is it about a BMW that you don't like? Let me show you. Everything in the car is plastic. Everything is plastic and it's so brittle. This broke in my hands, but you can see where it's dry rotted. The white is stress marks and dry rotted. So everything is brittle and plastic. Even replacing such as the water pump, the impeller inside the water pump, plastic. This fin, vacuum actuated fin, plastic. It is all plastic. All these coolant line hoses, they are all some form of plastic. This vehicle that you guys are paying so much money for, yes, they're nice vehicles. They look beautiful, right? They're a beautiful piece of equipment. They look beautiful. But y'all have no idea what y'all are really paying for. You guys are paying for brittle plastic. Do you believe things that get hot and cold should be made in plastic, or it should be made with something that lasts longer? The materials that they're putting in this is cheap as hell, and you guys are paying top dollar for this. As a mechanic, would I ever drive one of these? Hell no. Nice to own. It'll break your wallet. I'd rather go with a Toyota or a Honda or something like that that'll last longer. But honestly, they're doing the same thing with plastic stuff as well, too. They haven't gotten to the point with plastic hoses. Everything's still rubber. But just be wary. You guys are going to spend a lot of money if you like this brand. Just be wary.
And this right here is that it's where dreams actually turn into an actual nightmare, because especially with the high performance European brands, their BMWs, your Audis, your Mercedes, they're built with incredible precision, which is just a code for brutally expensive to fix. And if you should go back and look at the real numbers, like over the last 10 years, owning a BMW can cost you an estimated $17,800 in maintenance. That alone. Now, if you compare that to a brand that's famous for reliability, which is a Lexus, it's about $7,000 over the same decade. And if you ask why is there such a huge gap in the maintenance, European cars, they need special tools and imported parts that cost much, much more. And they have common problems like oil leak, BMW, Audi, Porsche. A simple fix on one of these brands can turn into thousands of dollars. Mechanics will tell you that they are complex German engineering. That's the phrase they call it, because the stuff they do and what they fit on those cars, it's basically out of this world. A standard brake pad replacement on an X5 can run you between $400 to $700 per axle. And then you're talking about brake rotors. You could be looking at another $500 to $800 each. So your standard brake job can turn into a $2,000 bill. That's just for brakes alone. And don't even get me started on Land Rover. That brand is legendary for looking good and notorious. But when it comes to repairs, a new transmission for a Range Rover can be anywhere between $1,800 to $3,400. And that's way before you pay for the specialized labor to put it in.
Just because you can afford it does not mean you should afford it. I drive a 2013 Honda CR-V, and I love this car. She is real simple. She is the LX, not even the EX. I also have the hubcaps, not the fancy rims over here. You know that running joke about your car not matching your aesthetic? I am that example. Still low maintenance enough because I'm not the type to care too much about my car, and I paid this car off. But lately, I've been seriously contemplating upgrading to a luxury car. I've been working really hard for so long, and I really just wanted to treat myself. With year-end sales and also the upcoming tariffs and things like that, I know what car I want. I'm not going to say which one. I'm thinking this is probably the best time to upgrade my car. The thought of having a monthly car payment again is revolting to me. It is absolutely revolting. Also, I don't know if y'all know this, but when you get a luxury car, everything goes up. Your insurance, your oil change, your car parts, your windshield wipers, everything goes up significantly to maintain a luxury car. In comparison to my Honda CR-V, it is night and day. This is not to say that I'll never get that car. It's that just because you can afford it does not mean you should afford it.
And I have to agree with her with that. You have to basically do your homework. Let's look at some of the comments that most of them are actually agreeing with her. The first one says, true luxury is not having car payments. The next one says, just get a high-end trim Honda. It will have almost the same features and the resale value will be the best compared to a luxury brand. Arguable, but facts are into that. This one says, I drove fairly simple cars most of my life, paid them off, never had a payment over $500. And that was the last car I bought, a Mercedes GLA. Will be retiring this May at 56, lived most frugally. And as you get older, you're going to start cutting back on expenses. You don't want to be approaching retirement and still have a car payment which is between $700 up to $1,000 these days. This one's a little bit cheeky. It says, girl, you don't need it. $800 extra in your bank instead of car payment, which is another gem of a comment. Some owners aren't even joking when they say they're on a first name basis with their mechanic because something is basically breaking every couple of months. Modern cars are built like spaceships. They're packed with a lot of technologies, giant touchscreens to driver assistant stuff, which feels like it's from 20 years in the future. The catch for most of this is that more things can break in expensive ways.
This message is for Range Rover and Range Rover only. Less than a year ago, I bought this vehicle.
Let me interject a little. Most of the videos I come across on this particular app, TikTok, they complain a lot about Range Rover. I can't say the least, but let's continue.
It is 2025 Range Rover autobiography. Within the past year, less than year, I have taken this car to the dealership for the same exact issue 4 times. Issue being, while I'm driving, okay, the vehicle literally will stop driving while I'm driving. It doesn't matter where I'm at. It has happened to me on the expressway twice. It has happened to me when I've been driving on the street. That is extremely dangerous because someone could literally run into the back of me and I lose my life. And it would be you all's fault, all right? And instead of taking it back, I've called you all and told you about this and see what I can do for you all to buy this car back from me. I have now had to go to the extent of hiring an attorney, to which you all have now ghosted. What do I have to do to give you this vehicle back? It's a piece of crap. Like the vehicle is so bad, it has given me nothing but issues and has just sucking so much money out of me. And it's now to the point where I literally do not even feel safe driving the vehicle. My vehicle only has 3,000 miles on it. And I have a receipt showing every single time that I have taken this car to the dealership to get it repaired for the same issue that keeps happening. I don't want the car anymore. I don't want anything to do with Range Rover anymore. I just want you all to take this car back. Okay, and so I talked about this on Twitter. It went super viral on Twitter, and thousands of other people were saying they had the exact same issue with their vehicle. Why has there not been a recall on this vehicle? Like, what's going on?
Range Rover are basically called electrical gremlins, and it's one of the top complaints from European car owners. A single bad sensor, it can light up the entire dashboard like a Christmas tree, and it will actually force you into an expensive long trip to the dealer to figure out what's going wrong. Let's look at some of the comments right here. This one says, I can't afford it yet, and I still don't want one. I can't really blame them for this. This is why I will stick with the generic Range Rovers. They seem to last longer, and those are the older models this person is probably talking about. Being poor has saved me once again. Yeah, if you can't afford it, you won't be in that problem whatsoever. This one got over 4,851 likes. File a lemon lawsuit. They will give you all your payments back, all your repairs, pay off the car, and take it back from you. Some states have the lemon law, and it doesn't apply to everywhere in North America, especially here in Canada. We would have to jump through hoops in order to actually get the dealership to do something about it. Range Rover is a lease car only. Do not buy it, which I totally agree. You want to look good, you don't want to own that car. You're going to end up with more problems than ever. They are unfortunately known for having severe issues for years. Range Rover on this app seems to have the most problem, as I stated earlier. Some of the other things you have to look out for is that butterfly smooth ride from Mercedes-Benz. Airmatic suspension, a lot of them feels good. But when that air system fails from a leak, the repair bill is going to feel anything but smooth all the way from the bank. And even the cameras and the sensors for the driving assist, even a tiny fender bender can knock those sensors all the way back into you taking out a loan, just for you to recalibrate them. But again, it's not all luxury brands are a financial trap, and there's a smarter way to do this. Japanese luxury brand Lexus, Acura, they have rock solid reputation for reliability, and it's not a secret why. They're basically built on the same super dependable platform as Toyotas and Hondas, and it's the ultimate cheat code for a lot of people out there. They've tried to follow what the celebrities are driving, but Japanese brands have a 10-year maintenance costs that are often half that of their German competitors. The parts are easier to find, the engineering is less insane, and that means fewer headaches and way smaller repair bills. Even American luxury brands like Cadillac and Lincoln usually ends up in a decent middle ground. Of course, they can be a little more expensive to keep up than a Lexus, but their parts they're almost everywhere. And they're easier to get than European imported parts, which it actually helps them in the long-term costs from flying off the rails and putting you in a tailspin of frustration.
Derek, what car brand has so many issues it basically pays your rent?
I would say Jeep, Chrysler, anything Stellantis. A runner-up would be Hyundai and Kia. Jeep for sure, and Chrysler, they have a lot of engine failures, transmission failures, tons of electrical issues, and just oddball other stuff. The newer ones, the older ones weren't too bad, but the last 4 or 5 years have been pretty consistently bad.
Scott, what car brand has so many issues it basically pays your rent at this point?
Car brand would probably be General Motors, especially Diverse and Equinoxes.
John, what car brand has so many issues it basically pays your rent at this point?
Ooh, a lot of GMs and their 4-cylinder, all of their 1.4 turbos. It's just money all day long.
And Danny, what car brand has so many issues it basically pays your rent?
I might have to say Chrysler. It's gonna be Chrysler, Dodge, all that. It's just electrical issues. They weren't well built. All kinds of odd things. They'll run forever. It's just everything on it's gonna break, except for the new ones. They won't run forever. I might have to say Chrysler in general.
Scott, what car brand has so many issues it basically pays your rent?
I would say Chevy, Equinox, and the Cruise. Those are two most popular ones we do. Between the turbo and the Equinox, we have 2 of them out in the parking lot right now. We've had for a year. The engine's blown. So yeah, those are the.
I know we're on the topic of luxury brands, but just to put this into perspective is to do your homework a little bit more, and so people could actually see what car brand will actually suit them without trying to chase that luxury look. Because the pull of a luxury car is very real. It's the statement everyone wants to share. It tells the world you've hit a certain level of success. When you're on the road and you see the people driving around in their Porsche Macan and their Porsche Cayenne, it only tells you half the story. The other half is written in the shocking repair bill that some of these people actually get, or the insane maintenance invoices, and the quiet pain of watching that car value disappear. People don't look at the real truth behind this. True luxury isn't the badge brand on your car, it's the financial freedom that you should get. It's being smart enough to see past the hype and understand what you're actually getting into. So before you go ahead and sign that paper for your dream car, you have to ask yourself, are you buying a symbol of success, or are you just leasing a beautiful engineering financial problem? The smartest move, in my opinion, is to invest in a brand known for not breaking down, and that could save you thousands of dollars and give you a peace of mind that no status symbol on earth can ever buy you. Please like, subscribe, and hit that thumbs up for the algorithm. Remember to grab a copy of my ebook, The Party Manager Guide. The links are in the description box below. Thank you for joining me, and I will catch you in the next one.